that too in live was very obvious. Why? Because today, I had finished three mock interviews with two degree pass outs. One is BSc Computer Science. They have passed out from Loyola College, and the other, student has been passed out from BCom, and one more, my cousin, he has been pursuing his masters. So tomorrow he has his full on the real interview. So that's why I really wanted to extend this session, because after interacting with three of the participants who are having interview tomorrow live, even I got a kind of, what they say, a self reminder that they were very good students, like they are having good academic background, they have done very good projects by themselves, and they were answering all the questions very nicely, in fact very preparedly, very maturely. But the common flaw, or probably the shortcomings which I felt in all the three people, were they failed to give a proper, impactful or very attractive self introduction, and that might pass a message to the HR, to the interviewer, that this candidate has is not having that much potential, etc., etc. So in today's session, what we'll do is, let's try to be very specific about what can be the ideal yeah. Hi, Naresh. Thanks for joining. And yeah, so I think it will be very useful to you also. Why? Because the other day we were having this discussion of, you are looking to change the job. Why? Because not even freshers, even for the experienced people, it's a very big, ice-breaking question or a nervous factor. Why? Because point one, they are strangers. Okay, so when we meet them, we don't know whether what kind of mentality or how, what kind of a person is the HR, and we tend to have that shy feelings. Okay, now if you search in the internet, either a Google search or in LinkedIn or in the very famous, see, what is the biggest repository today's job seekers, today's freshers think? That is YouTube, right? It's available free. So whoever has some mobile data or Wi-Fi, they obviously tend to browse uh, in YouTube about what their questions. Now there are around 3 millions or 3 million videos which are related to interview skills, and out of that 70% of the videos are just to give you knowledge or give you insight about how to introduce yourself. That sums up for lakhs of videos, and there are 100 plus videos which are having around 10 million views. Can you believe that? Means that is the searching tendency, or that is a need in the industry about this particular question. I have told you that this is an ice breaking question. You will have a wonderful resume on the paper, right? Listed all your academic qualifications, big schools, big colleges, great percentages, certifications, but you need to still start by introducing yourself. Now in this session, I want you to understand, even after seeing all the, probably you may not see 100 videos, if you see the 10 best videos also, you will have so many doubts at the end of the day, that what can be the correct for myself, correct one, correct introduction for myself, my resume. Yes, that's important. So forget about how many versions you have. What version you are going to lock for yourself, how you are going to have a standard version for yourself, we will discuss in the first 5 minutes. Before you have a version for yourself, of course, don't see more than 3 to 4 videos which can again mess up your mind. Stick to 2 3, that too one for vocabulary, one for probably examples. So have your version, right? Second, what are the top priorities to finalize your version? The sequence, point by point, what you are going to reveal about yourself. Why? Because directly you cannot start saying that, Hello, sir. I am very much a good fit for this job. I can be a best pick. You will not regret by taking me because I'm having great experience in this job role. Or I'm a very committed person. I'm a very sincere person. I'm a very hardworking person. Do not give these statements. So my first takeaway of this session is never give statements, giving certifying yourself with some adjectives, right? I'm talking in a fresher point of view because an experienced guy will directly start work, telling about his project, his experience, and what kind of job roles he have done. But for a fresher, what should be the sequence? Right. Now, ideally, it will be with your full name, right? I am Muhammad Rahman Pasha. That is respecting yourself and sounding your name beautifully with your surname. Don't just be very casual with your I'm Rahman, right? Like no, like the corporate world have some ethics, some some very significant. We may not think that they are very serious, but yeah, they take some things very serious. So introduce with your full name. That's beautiful. That's a very good way of respecting yourself. I live in Hyderabad. Why I'm saying living place? Why? Because relevance is the very important. Remember, guys, what I'm telling. The first one is the sequence. The first point is the sequence. Step by step, what you are going to say about yourself. The second point, throughout your introduction, relevance is very important. How do you stay relevant? Yes, why? Because don't say something which is not at all required in that space. That is very simple. A HR professional, one or two people, yes, are trying to understand whether you are a good fit to that job role, whether you can be a good team member, and whether you are having the deserving qualities to become a part of that Tech Mahindra, Deloitte, or whatever it might be the company. Okay, so why they need to know how many siblings you have, what kind of cultural background you have, and relevance. So I am Mohammad Rahman Pasha. I live in Hyderabad. Place of living is very important, so that HR will calculate that. Okay, what kind of exposure you have. So if you are living in Hyderabad, that's a very good sign. Why? Because it's one of the top five cities where all the MNC headquarters are placed. So that's a good news that you are already in Hyderabad. So some culture exposure you have, and so I live in Hyderabad and probably that place. Now, self introduction should be also used for rapport building. Who should build rapport? He is not concerned to build rapport with you because he need to interview 30 plus people in probably in that 2 to 3 hours he have. So it's your job or it is your necessity to build rapport with that HR in that 2 minutes. Why? Because it's about hand picking, right? After listening to five, six self introductions, if he memorize back that whom should I pick for the next round? Oh, Rahman was good. Like, he was very easygoing. He was interesting. That vibe should come. So you should create rapport building. So I live in Hyderabad, sir, and if you, I think you already know that it is very famous for its food culture, for its history, and I love Hyderabad food. So this is an indication to the HR who is probably from Pune, who is probably from Gurgaon. He only came to Hyderabad for 2 days, on behalf of company for interviewing you. So you are giving a hint to the HR that if you want to know something about special about Hyderabad food, about its good places to visit after 5 o'clock after your job evening, I might help you. I might be a good guide to you. You are not directly asking that, come, sir, I will roam you around Hyderabad. You are not taking that liberty. You are very cleverly saying that you know good things about Hyderabad. So that's about, again, rapport building. I am Muhammad Rahman Pasha. I live in Hyderabad, which is very famous for its food, history, and culture. I personally love Hyderabad food. And what you are currently doing now. That is a very important, relevant point. No bother, don't bother about your background education, which happened before your graduation. SSC, intermediate. Remember, data you are not going to repeat, which is already there on the resume. It is not an opportunity to waste time by repeating data, by repeating the percentages, which school you have. 70 out of 100 people will be passing out from Narayana, Chaitanya. So it's no point, and it's very boring stuff. So directly what you are doing now, I'm currently studying Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering, in which my favorite subjects are database management system, operating system, or I'm personally very interested in programming languages, and I will be passing out year 2024 or 25. So I'm into current third year, which means I have one more year to pass out. So what you are trying to do is you are coming to the point straightly. You are not going to mess his mind by giving this details of, in my 10th class I struggled a lot, sir, I studied in government school, I used to walk barefoot. No emotional drama, right? Why? Because they have, they are, this is their daily job. They listen to 100 plus people per day, probably, if it is a recruitment season, right? So similarly everybody's will have their own story. Will, full respect to your pain, full respect to your past. People, everybody will have their own story. It's not the place to bring that aspect. Stick to the point. So what you are currently doing, and I am repeating, when you give a professional introduction, why I said Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. Why? Because students are having this misled way of saying BTech, BEE, or BE, MTech. Why do you assume that the other person who is probably a degree pass out, or who is from a life science background, from a medical background, yeah, it might be. So how you expect the HR that he know the full forms of your shortcuts? No, respect them and treat them as, as a very valuable person for that, at least for one day, that is for your selfish reason. So say the full form. So I am coming back again. I am Muhammad Rahman Pasha, right? I'm living in Hyderabad, which is very famous, blah blah blah. Then you go to, I'm currently studying Bachelor of Technology, or pursuing, right, Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. And why I'm talking about favorite subjects, sir? Sir, are you kidding us, sir? Do we have favorite subjects? We every day pray that we just need to get rid of the subjects. Okay, that is the fact. But you are not having the license to be so honest in interviews, right? There should be some sugar coating. There should be some kind of, obviously, so why? Because you have spent 4 years in that particular degree. So something you should carry on in your heart, right? So that's why I'm asking, choose the two, three subjects which you are confident, and it is a tricky thing. Why I'm saying it's a tricky thing? Why? Because if you are really well versed with DBMS or OS, PPL, or principles of programming language or operating systems, beg my pardon for repeating the shortcuts, you are actually giving a hint that, if you're kind enough, can you ask me questions from operating systems here? Like, you are not giving a statement again. It's again a very very smooth way to give a hint that my favorite subjects are this. My technical skills after your current education qualification, what are your technical skills which you are gaining? Not you are expert. People have this inferior complex that, how I can say Python, I only know Python definitions, I only say know how to write small programs. You don't need to be expert to say that this is your technical skill. If you have good enough experience on MS Office, if you can create an Excel data sheet, if you can do something on MS Paint, it's an employability skill. Don't shy away to say that, okay, this is etc etc, I can't say because I only know basics of it. Everybody knows only basics at the starting, right? You don't have a platform where you are daily using that skills. So don't shy away to tell two to three of your technical skills. Of course you should have some confidence when you say that, right? And you also can say where you are using it. I'm very good in Paint, sir. I help my brother in his projects. My brother, who is working in a particular software company, he takes my help in Excel. That means you are already applying that. So your technical skills, then followed by your soft skills as a person. What skills you have, what can you bring onto the table? What can you bring onto the table? Whether you are a good patient, so whether everybody is in a rush, whether you can bring the team on a very slow patience when it is required. If you are a sports person in from your school background, can you work under pressure? So I'm a very enthusiastic person, sir. So you are having great enthusiasm to learn. I'm a great reader that brings lot of observation skills. all these human behavior skills organizations are really dying to look out for. There is a scarcity. There is a lot of scarcity for these skills. So you try to, again, don't give statements, tell examples, like create some examples. Who is going to ask you proof that my project, there was just 1 week left and my two of the friends were sick, so I took up the challenge. I created so I filled that gap. Narrate some examples from your school college life and attribute that to your skills. They love to listen. You are making the rest of the interview very very easy by creating this beautiful introduction and by narrating these examples. And how do you end, how do you start is very important, how do you take off is very important. So we know, we understood that how to start, be relevant, how to take off with a sequence point by point, how to end, how to conclude with a short term goal, what is running in your mind, what are you looking to complete in the next 3 months 6 months, with a proper plan, right? So don't again get confused here. Don't say something which is very out of the box short term goal. Don't say that I want to win this you know uh, cricket tournament by going to Pune, etc., because company may not give you leave because you will be a fresher. Say something which is related to your professional life, right? And if it is contradicting with your profession, then you have good ways to explain that my first priority will be to build my career. So this is about the actual concept. How do you execute? Why? Because having a concept, I'm telling you, there are lakhs of videos on YouTube already, articles. So this is a concept, very simple concept of having point by point sequence. But how do you execute it? First thing first, lock your version. I'm telling, right? Everybody may not have the same or a high level of vocabulary, communication skills. Lock your version. How do you lock your version? Right? Pen down this sequence. What suits to you? What subject suits to you? What hobbies and what soft skills suits to you? What technical skills suits you? You pen down this. Then you lock your version, the theory part. Next, bring into execution. First tip, do it in front of small audiences. Do it in front of small audiences. Never try to do it first. Never try to wait for that day where you are having the real interview, whether it is for internship, whether it is for real job or full time job. Start in front of small audiences. That audience can be one also, your friend, your cousin, who may not be an expert, who should be a good listener. A listener who should tell you some kind of input, like, you are fumbling here, or you were pronouncing, very odd here. That can be a very good task. Second, 5 people, then your classroom, then a canteen. So this is start in front of small audiences. Record your own self introduction, right? It's very odd, you feel awkward to listen to your version, but record it. Face the reality where you are getting stuck, where you are taking too much pauses. Now continuously keep listening to some nice, very very meaningful content, right? On any topic, that may not be on education, that may not be on technology. Listen to anything you believe. That I being a, for example, just a quote an example, I believing a I being a born Muslim, I always wanted to get command on Telugu. By because we live in a Telugu state. So early morning, I listen to preachers like, Chaganti Koteshwar Rao. I don't get the content what they say. Why? Because it's very spiritual, very philosophical, but the vocabulary it stucks in my mind. That is very important. So you just be selfish. You try to. That's why I keep saying, you this famous example of cricket commentary when IPL comes, and why do you just watch it for the visual aspect? Why don't you pick some words from the commentary? Similarly, with your favorite hero interview, watch it, take some vocabulary. So keep listening and enhance your vocabulary and pronunciation. Right. And imagination is very, very important. Every time you may not have a very, not not every time, like probably once in 1,000 times which you plan, you will not have encouraging and supporting environment. Don't blame that. So create a headspace, create a space where you are imagining this particular sequence where you are giving introduction to someone multiple times in your headspace. Why? Because the day when you are doing it really, this will not look like very odd. You should feel that I have done it 100 times. So this today I'm just going to do it for 101 time. If day one you are feeling that I am shit, because this is the famous thing which we win, like the obvious thing which we hear, I'm doing it for the first time. You are psyching up yourself. Nobody is building that tension, nobody is building that anxiety, right? People are very cool when you go and meet them, but you yourself are building that anxiety. You are creating that unnecessary tension. So why? The whole factor of I am doing it for the first time. You do it 100 times in your mind. When you do it really also, it looks same. So that's very, very important. And the most important thing is, never think that you are going to hit 6 out of 6 on the day one. You will not. Preparation versus execution. The survey says that even the world's biggest orators also can execute only 70 to 75% of their speech. Who I'm talking about, Barack Obama and biggest world orators. If they are only executing only 70% of what they plan, then we are normal people. We are okay with even 50 to 60 percentage. That should be the target. That's fine. Like when you go to job interviews, you need to understand that they are not looking for great speakers. They are trying to see three C's: clarity, confidence, and courtesy. Do you have clarity of what you are going to say? That itself is confidence. If you are speaking something like just like natural, it is confidence. Why? Because you are telling that you are having good observation skills, or friends like you because you are having a great judgmental skills, because it is true, it is real, that looks very natural. Courtesy is trying to respect him, the time, respect yourself, and trying to give your 100%, and not the very important. I always say, any session irrespective of any time, care a damn about the result or is not in your hands. That's why they don't understand. Why do people say that to their closed ones, especially that they have interview tomorrow, the results are going to be out? Why do you create that tension? Care a damn about result. Why? Because you need to understand. Even an IPL match, you watch it for 2+ hours, but how the percentage of people who watch the presentation ceremony is less than 10 percentage. Why? The real kick is in match, is in the process. After basically when you know that who is winning, you don't even watch. So that less significance you give to the result, the much you can create impact in the process. So guys, back to the basics. How you need to give the self introduction. It is not about how great you are or how talented you are. It's about how much you understand the context and how relevant you speak to the other person. So first is, prepare a sequence to you, right? Follow that sequence, right? And you lock your version. Never try to speak spontaneously. You, at this age where you are in campus, when you are not having such exposure apart from the college events, which only 10% of the people in the class participate, you cannot be a spontaneous speaker, right? Don't take me wrong, I'm not labeling you or generalizing you, but that's the fact. So have a sequence in the mind, but that does not mean that I'm saying you to by heart it. No, have a sequence of what should be told in a very procedural manner. Avoid shortcuts, respectful names, respectful forms. Then what is the third point? Pick your own vocabulary and practice in multiple situations, from small audiences to bigger audiences. Or the best thing is, practice in your headspace, right? And avoid anxiety, avoid nervousness. How this can happen? When you feel that it is already something which you have done again and again, there is nothing new in it. So don't just build up that situation. And what is the most important thing? The process is important. Care a damn about results. Even you're the biggest fortune teller may not say that whether you'll get through in this job round or not, right? They only take guess. So even so, if the professional guy is not telling the fortune, then who are you to say? So that is as simple as that. Okay, so while you see lot of versions, what is your version? Because every person, every human being, every person, every mind is different. So everybody may not have the same soft skills, same technical skills, same thought process. Everyone is unique. You need to bank on your USP. What is your unique selling point? Right? And don't give statements. I want to conclude by saying this. Don't say I am hardworking person. Don't say I'm an interesting person. Narrate the examples. Tell the examples with which they can believe that, oh, whatever you are saying, that is coming from your friends, from your family, from other persons. You are not certifying yourself. So this was a nutshell which I was doing, at least I was examining in my mock interview today. That's what I wanted to pass out, but open to feedback. This I will try to again post back in the the saved videos also. So I know this is a very odd time to do a live session, but I wanted to continue with my flow. Even I am missing an IPL match because I only watch KKR and the other Gujarat match. So both is coming. Even I sacrificed my fun, but this was more fun. Thank you. And yes, please come up with some chat which having any specified doubts. Thank you.